Hello. Yeah, uh, I think the
Hi,
broadcast is
Sanjit.
started. Yeah, hi Ravi. So I just wanted to confirm, if everyone is able to hear us. Yeah, can you hear? One second. I'll just ask one of the attendees. Can you just go on the in the other room and check if you can hear me? You can hear me? You can hear me, right? Yeah. Okay. So, hello all. My name is Sanchit Malik. I'm from Townscript team. I'm co-founder of Townscript, and this is our first webinar. So the idea behind organizing the webinar was we have been working with events community for last around 4.5 years, and we have built a very strong community of event hosts and event attendees. So then we want to build a network of event organizers. The idea behind this hosting these webinars is like we want to build a community of very active event organizers where we can discuss with each other how we can grow our events, how we can make our events experience better, and basically the whole experience of events marketing, and how we can take our events to the next level. So with that aim to support our events community, we started this webinar series. And what we will do is we will call on monthly basis. We will call event uh, entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs who have made uh, names, who have made their names in their own segment. So today we have Ravi Handa. So Ravi Handa is the founder of Handaka Funda. So Handaka Funda is a very popular cat series, cat coaching class where anyone can go and sign up for cat courses. So more, I think Ravi will be introducing you. So just to give you a protocol of the event, right? So what we will do is first Ravi will be speaking for 15 to 20 minutes, and then after that we will have a Q&A section. We want to keep it very interactive. So if you have any questions, so we'll discuss all those questions, and I hope we'll have a very useful session. Thank you. So Ravi, over to you.
Oh, thanks, Sanjit. Uh, so a couple of things, Sanjit. You seem way too conscious doing this. I, I would have shaped also. So, as a matter of fact, to the listeners, Sanchit and I did a dry run in the morning. Trust me, the way he looks right now and the way he looked in the morning was radically different. So, now, so today, so Sanchit had contacted me about this webinar around a month and a half ago, and we have been working in phases. First of all, so I'm Ravi. I run this website called handagafunda.com, and we are primarily into online coaching for CAT. Now, some of you might think that hasn't really got much to do with events, but although it is an online course, although it is in the education sector, a lot of our marketing is driven by various events that we do. Webinars form a chunk of those events. Also, we conduct a lot of live classes, which can be categorized as events, and we use them for various purposes. Townscript has been really helpful to us over a period of last 3 or maybe 4 years in managing these events, collecting payments for them, organizing them, and everything. So that was the reason that I essentially wanted to discuss some of the ideas, some of the stuff that we have done to promote these events, to run these events, to do stuff which can actually help people. Now, as far as this particular session is concerned, I'll take somewhere from 15 to 20 minutes. The things that we will be discussing is, so my agenda for this particular session was that to pick some of the low-hanging fruits, some of the very obvious and very simple things that nearly each and every event organizer can do. So there are, I'm sure there are some first-time event organizers who are planning to do it for the first time. They don't know how to get the first customers. And there are people who have been doing events traditionally. Say, Sanchit was telling me someone who organizes dance workshops or art workshops are there. So these people are really, really good in their field. But to get more people to the event, they can do some very simple stuff, which they haven't been doing. One of the most important points that I want all of you to keep in mind throughout this session is, please understand that an event may be a day-long event, an event may be a week-long event, but the marketing for that event is essentially a 24/7 year-long affair. It is not that you can just think about an event and execute that event. You can do that, but if you really want to do it in the long run, and if you want to do it well, you have to take a year-long approach. It's not something that will happen in a day. And that is how your entire marketing plan should be structured. So what we are going to talk about today is essentially these key things. First of all, we'll begin with the phases of marketing, how to identify the right audience, choosing the channel as to what channels you should choose, how to organize your marketing efforts, and how to stay connected with your audience. Now, I'll begin with the phases of marketing. Now, as I was saying, a lot of people think that if their event is on 25th of December, then they need, maybe their marketing should start from 25th of November and reach a crescendo somewhere around 19th and 20th of December. That is not true. That is just a part of your marketing. That essentially is what I would put in the pre-event marketing phase. Post that, you need to think about marketing as the event is going on. Say, for example, as I am taking this particular class, Sanchit and I have exchanged PPTs at least 5 times since today morning to figure out, okay, where are we going to put the Handa Funda logo? Where are we going to put the Townscript logo? This logo is looking too big. This logo is looking too small. So that during this event, during this particular session, we can figure out how, what is the best way to actually promote what we are doing. And the last part is, once the event is done, your responsibility might end towards the people who have paid or attended, but your marketing should not end over there. Your marketing needs to continue even after the event. How to do that, more details about this, that's what I'm going to cover in the next 7 or 8 slides. That is what I have today. But before you get into that, you need to really define your goal well. What is it that you are trying to do with this particular event or with any event that you are thinking about? One, and all of these are good goals. You can have all these goals as well, but you need to prioritize. So one example of a goal is lead generation. Say, for example, what I do is, so I teach students for CAT and MBA entrance exams. So sometimes I conduct a webinar about what are the best books to read. I'm sorry. So sometimes I conduct webinars about what are the best books to read for an MBA aspirant. And what happens is, a lot of people attend these sort of webinars. So with the help of these webinars, I'm not selling anything. It's not about my course, but someone who is interested in participating in this webinar, that guy will be potentially a customer, or at least he will be related to potential customers. So my goal with that sort of a session is, I need to capture as many email IDs, as many contact numbers as possible. So I start if they attend the event, good. Even if they don't attend the event, my main goal was to capture the leads. Is that my priority? Then the second sort of priority is maximizing the attendance to an event. Now, say for an example, I'll take one example of my own and another example of an event that I went to, I believe, around 7 or 8 days ago. So what I do is, suppose I'm conducting a particular session which is sponsored by someone. Now, what the sponsor is going to check is how many people were there in that particular event. So I conduct Facebook live sessions where I conduct online GK quizzes. Now, in those sessions are typically sponsored by some websites or anyone who is targeting youth, because GK and quizzing is the sort of stuff which youth is interested in. And with that, what the sponsor is looking at is, in Facebook Live, there are no leads. For the Facebook Live event, the only thing that matters is how many people are watching that video live. How many likes are you getting? How many smileys you are getting? How many comments are you getting? How many times you mention the name of the sponsor? And for all of that, what you need to do is you need to focus on attendance. Say, for example, there was a fair which was sort of conducted by a builder in the society where I live in. What he was trying to do was he has built up a shopping mall close to our building, and what he was trying to do is he was trying to showcase the various shops that have opened there. So for him, it doesn't really matter how many leads are generated. For him, it matters that more and more people actually walk into the mall, see the various shops which are there, see the kind of services that they are providing, and that is what is going to push. First of all, so there are some shops which are unsold. So once people walk in, once the business booms there, it will lead to higher sales of the other shops which are there. So again, with that particular event, his goal was to maximize attendance. And then an obvious goal which is there, which is money and revenue maximization, which could be there. Now, suppose you are conducting a sort of workshop. The more people attend that particular workshop, they will provide you revenue. Or along with that workshop, you can have something for people who don't even attend it, but still they can buy some stuff from it. So that is the third goal. I'm not saying that goal 1 or goal 2 or goal 3 should be your goal with your webinars or any event, but you should have the goal clear as to what your goal is. And if there are 2 or 3 things you are trying to achieve, write it down that my top priority with this particular event is attendance, my second priority is revenue maximization, and my third priority is lead generation. You'll need to do that. And once you have your goal clear, it is really important to identify the audience. Who are the sort of people who are going to attend this event? For example, for this particular webinar, we believed when Sanchit and I were planning this, we believed that a lot of people, majority of this who would be attending it, are going to be people who are organizing events for the first time, or who have organized maybe 1 event or 2 events, but they don't really know how to market and promote it well. Then comes the second question. Where are these guys available and how can you reach them? So one of the best resources that I have seen, one of the best tools that I have seen is, which works, is an email marketing and a blogging campaign. Now, say for example, I'll take an example of, suppose you run workshops on how to solve Rubik's Cube. That's another workshop that I attended. Brilliant workshop. The guy does a very good job. What he does is he goes to various engineering colleges because he believes that is where his audience is. But so when he does it in an engineering college, a lot of students come, his event is a huge success. But on the other hand, when he tries to organize such sort of an event outside where no school or college is involved, it is very difficult for him to get an audience to his event. Why? Because he's not marketing his workshop very well. What he does is he gives out some ads and papers, sends out a few emails or shares on his Facebook personal pages and stuff like that. Doesn't really work if you do that 7 days before the event. And that is where email marketing and blogging comes into the picture. So whatever you are doing, whatever it is, whichever field you are working in, it's really, really important to have an active blog. Now, you might be wondering, what do I blog about? Well, you are conducting an event which is related to something. Think about it, what people would be interested in. Now, the people who are your potential audience, what would they like to read? What would they like to hear? What are they interested in? And you can write about that. And once you start blogging regularly, in those blog posts, you can have some sort of an email capture tool. Say, for example, the tool that I use is Sumo.me. Now, what Sumo does is that whenever you try to leave the website, or it helps you build an email database. So someone who is coming to your blog is potentially interested in stuff like this. He gives you your email, and then every time you blog, you send him an email newsletter, or maybe you send him a monthly update. So what happens is he keeps on being in touch with you. And with the help of tools like this, you build a database, and so the next time you are conducting a workshop, or the next time you are conducting such an event, or even planning such an event, you can reach out to them. You can gather data from them. You can now suppose, say for example, I'm based in Jaipur, and I'm doing that Rubik's Cube thing. But if I blog and I find a lot of people in Pune are interested in learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube, I will have all of that data from the email. I will have all of that data from the blog. I can ask them that, would any of you be interested in attending an event? My break-even point for a workshop is 25. And if I can find 15 people from my email list, I know I will be able to get 10 more. So your pre-event marketing does not start 7 days or 1 month before the event. It is an year-long activity. Blogging and email marketing is an important part of it. Now, another thing which nearly, I believe, all of you would know and use is using social media like Facebook and Twitter to promote the event. Facebook pages are there. You can use those. Facebook groups are there. On Twitter, you can create hashtags. On Twitter, you can keep on sharing stuff related to whatever is your field of expertise or your event that you are looking at. But a lot of people ignore the use of non-traditional websites. For example, the ones that I really like are Quora, Reddit, YouTube, and Pinterest. Now, so Quora works really, really well for me. Quora has a lot of engineering students. I believe a lot of those engineering students would eventually become MBA aspirants. So it makes sense for me to be really active on Quora. And on Quora, I don't just write about MBA preparation, all that. I write about everything. I have written movie reviews about films like Gunda as well. And Quora has been really, really helpful in getting me a lot of leads, a lot of students, build a brand. Reddit is another resource that you guys can use. Now, the benefit of Reddit is that Reddit already has predefined communities. On Quora, so another benefit of Quora is, now suppose you have a website, no one comes to your website. How are you going to get people to your website? You don't need to. On Quora, if you write a good answer, it will come really high in search results. People don't really care where they are getting the information from. As long as you have done the branding well, as long as you have done the marketing well, people will just care about, okay, so I read about this company called Townscript, which helps in event management. Then they can go and figure out where Townscript is. But before that, what they can do is they can read about Townscript on Quora. Reddit is divided in various communities. So Reddit will have an India community, Reddit will have a dance community, Reddit will have dancers in India as a community as well. So whatever niche that you are targeting, Reddit will have a community or a sub-community for that. It's known as a subreddit. And you can be active on that subreddit. You can see what people are talking about. You can see what people are discussing about, what people want to do. There are Reddit communities for cities as well. So there is a Reddit for Jaipur, there is a Reddit for Pune. If you are into organizing local events, that's something that could be of great use. YouTube. YouTube is, a lot of people think that, okay, how am I going to do, who is going to make these videos on YouTube? Yeah, I've never made a video. I don't know how to make a video. What am I going to do? Does not matter. Whatever crappiest video you can make is better than no video. If you can't do anything, even if you can just make a PPT and add a voice over to it, that is good enough. As long as the content is decent, that is fine. One very good way to use YouTube is that suppose you are conducting a workshop, or let's say suppose you conducted any event where people participated. You got to do nothing else but just go with a mobile phone to them and ask them a couple of questions. What did you feel about the event? How was your experience? What did you think about it? And upload that as testimonials. So that next year, when I'm trying to look for whether I should attend that Rubik's Cube workshop or whether I should attend that salsa workshop, what I'll do is maybe on the basis of a search, I will land up to that video. Or I'll come to your website and I'll see a video where there is an equally fat man talking about how salsa workshop was enjoyable for him. I think that I will not enjoy a salsa workshop because of my body shape. But if I see a similar sort of guy talking about how he enjoyed it, the chances of me signing up would double or triple. Video is a very, very powerful medium which can be used, can be leveraged, and on your website as well as on YouTube, that's something that you should try to leverage. Pinterest is another very good resource. Instagram is another very good resource if you are into anything which is related to art or which is visually enhancing. Wherever good visuals come into the picture, if you are doing something like that, probably you should give a very serious look at Pinterest and Instagram. Once again, this is your pre-event marketing, which needs to go on year-long. These are the activities that you should be doing year-long if you want to do events successfully.
Yeah. Hi, Ravi. Sorry, I wanted to interrupt you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, Ravi, I think your presentation, your slides are not moving in my view. Can you please check?
That's so.
Yeah, now I can see the identifying the audience slide.
Okay, so maybe when
now
it doesn't work.
Oh yes, maybe. Yeah, no problem. So now from now on we can just keep a check at it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, please carry on. Sorry.
Quickly go through the slides. The first slide was dealing with agenda, then the phases of marketing: pre-event, during event, and post-event. Defining your goals: lead generation, attendance, and revenue maximization. Identifying the audience, which is, I believe, where we were at. Now, the next slide, which is steps to take on a pre-event basis. It's really important that you brand yourself. It's really important that you brand yourself, see what you are doing, how you are doing it, how people are perceiving you as to, are you an authority figure in that particular department? Again, Quora, YouTube, all these guys will help you with it. Another thing is that what you can do from an event perspective is that you need to incentivize publicizing the event. So suppose there is a person who registers for whatever event it is. Can you anyway incentivize him to publicize the event? Perhaps something that you can do is, once he has registered, show him a small little button that post registration, can you please share it on Facebook? So I am very sure you would have bought something on Amazon, and once you have purchased, they give you that button that, okay, I just purchased this on Amazon. Something like that, because otherwise it's very difficult for people to do that. Now, Amazon does that post-purchase. What you can also do is that even in a pre-purchase mode, what you can tell people is, okay, you share about this particular event on Facebook and we will give you a 5% off. So for that 5% off, I believe quite a few of them would share about it on Facebook, tweet about it, stuff like that. You can also incentivize attending the event. Now, a lot of people, so what happens is a lot of people sign up for events, but they don't really show up. This especially happens if the event is a free event. So what can you do? You can tell them that if you attend this particular event, there is a certain goodie attached. That 5 lucky winners on that particular day will get t-shirts, or maybe nearly everyone who is attending that day will get a t-shirt. If you bring 2 friends along, they will get a t-shirt. Something like that. I am not really sure what you can do. These could be goodies. These could be even small little pens and papers, and there could be small little certificates. You cannot, so especially if you are doing something in the education or any sort of training field, even if you are conducting a free session, even if you are conducting a free webinar, even if you are conducting a free workshop, you can never underestimate the power of a free certificate. Just give them a certificate that they were attended, and you can publicize about that. You also need to incentivize early registrations. What do I mean by that? People, suppose you are doing a paid event which is priced at 1500 rupees. That's what you want your average pricing to be. What you will realize is that most people are going to register in the last 2 days of the event because they don't really plan ahead. Some of them will come to the venue and then try and register for the event. So what you do is you create 3 slabs. People who register substantially before, maybe 7 days before, they get it for 1000 rupees. People who register in the last 2 days get it for 1500 rupees. And people who register on the day of the event, when they are there, they get it for 2500 rupees. Now, what happens because of this is maybe your average pricing, maybe it will be down to 1400, maybe it will be a little higher at 1650. But what will happen is you will get a lot of free promoters for your event. How? Think about it this way. If someone tells you that they are going to a particular event and that person is your friend, you will think about, okay, if Ravi is going, I might join him. On the other hand, if Ravi tells you about an event, that boss, this event is happening, I may go, I may not go, then you are not that convinced. But once you know that your friend, someone you know, has already registered, he is already going to be there, the chances of you converting are a lot higher. And another thing is that we as humans have this nature of bringing and pulling friends along, that boss, I am going to attend that workshop, come on, you come with me as well. So these guys become your sales agents. So it is very important and very necessary to incentivize the early registration. Another important thing is that you need to share as many details as you can on the event page, via email, wherever you are publicizing, wherever you are promoting your event. It is necessary that you tell your audience what is going to happen, because of 2 reasons. 1, you don't want them to be disappointed later on that they have been missold. And 2, the content of whatever event should be solid enough to attract people. Otherwise, they won't come. And they can't guess what it is going to be about. You might be very clear that, okay, it's a dance workshop, this happens, that happens. But as someone like me who has never attended a dance workshop, I would not know what happens in that particular event. This is where your previous year videos will come in handy. Another thing, automate as much as you can. So we have been using Townscript at handagafunda.com for these events. So what we used to do was we used to collect data with the help of Google Forms. It's a painful process. The amount of tools that Townscript and similar websites provide to automate your event, automate the registration process, makes it a lot easier. So you should think about some sort of tools that you can use. Choosing your channel. Again, this is a during event activity. For example, for this particular session, we are using GoToWebinar. We wanted to limit the audience a little bit so that we can have a good Q&A session. VizIQ is another one that you can use if you are doing an online training session of some sort. You can embed these sessions on your website so that people are on your website when that event is happening. YouTube Live is probably the most popular way to do it, but YouTube Live has a slight problem. There is a certain amount of lag which exists when you are doing YouTube Live. Also, the chatting people and multiple presenters are a little bit difficult over there. So these are some of the options that are available for online sessions. Offline, I believe the most important thing is the venue, but during the event, there should be FB discussion groups which are active about it, where people are talking about it if it is a day. So you give them an opportunity to network. So suppose you are part of a conference. There is a group which is only for conference attendees, and people are chatting, and people might be talking about the food at the conference or some upcoming sessions, or where one of the presenters can share the content. Twitter hashtags are again really popular. You can tell people to post pictures of the event if it is offline, and don't forget to broadcast the event on FB. Maybe it's a panel discussion that you want to broadcast, whatever it is. You have done all the effort in organizing the event. The event is going well. You only need a decent mobile phone with a 4G network to broadcast it to maybe hundreds or thousands of people who would want to watch it live. And even if no one watches it live, all you are going to lose is some data. So don't forget it always. If you're doing an offline event, just have a live feed broadcast going on FB or somewhere else. Some of these steps that you can take during the event: give out a coupon code for some product or something that you're selling, something that you're gathering leads for. Give out a goodie, maybe offer something for free download. Share your contact details, these are mine, so that people can contact you later in case of something. Another thing that, so pictures and selfies are always a good idea. Also, suppose there is an event and you are encouraging people to share their pictures, share their selfies, and tweet them. As an organizer, it is your responsibility to retweet it. Human race is looking for validation. But now, someone who likes to take selfies and post it on social media will obviously like it if it is seen by a bigger and a wider audience. And if they are doing it with a hashtag, it is your responsibility to share it with your audience. And what will happen is it will encourage the other one. So suppose you retweeted Ravi's selfie. If you retweeted Ravi's selfie, Sanchit will get motivated to post a selfie after the marathon as well. So that's something that can incentivize. Videos, we already talked about. You can tell people to broadcast live from the event. You can record videos during the event and help people out with them. You can, once again, incentivize sharing. So this is something that if any of you have heard of something called the Tata Crucible, it's a quiz event which happens. Now, in Tata Crucible, what they do is they give out one prize, and it's a shitty prize. It's one of the worst bags that you can see, which will probably cost 150 rupees, not even that much considering that they would get it in bulk. What they do is that they ask people to tweet during the event, and the guy who tweets the maximum gets that bag. And people go crazy for that 150 rupee bag, and they're tweeting on and on about the event, about the questions which are being asked, or some joke that is being cracked for just that one bag. So even if it's a small thing, it might seem small, but to someone, people like getting these goodies. It is not about that 150 rupees. It is not about the bag. It is about winning. So if you can incentivize them in some form of sharing, that's really going to help. Once you are done with the event part, it is again very important to market yourself post the event. One of the first things that you should do is, once the event is done and dusted, gather feedback. Now, not everyone is going to reply, but the ones who reply, they will have some sort of insights for you. One of the most common, now don't get discouraged with the feedback as well, because what typically happens is, if you are asking them for feedback then and there and live, you will have a positive bias. If you are asking them for some sort of feedback later on, maybe a day or 2 days after the event, most people would just ignore it, or if they are going to write something to you, they are going to be critical. But be ready to accept that critical feedback and improve from their critical feedback. Another thing about post-event marketing, obviously you are going to do similar sessions again and again. This is the business that you are in. You need to encourage them to keep attending again and again. You can send them free stuff, which will obviously encourage them to at least open the email. For example, I will be, once this session is done, I've already asked Sanchit, to everyone who has registered for the event, we will be emailing you this particular PPT. Maybe it will come in handy. Conducting a survey is again something that helps. You can ask for recommendations and reviews. Now, when you're asking for recommendations and reviews, please don't tell them, please review us on Facebook. Don't do that. Give them the exact link that click here and then review us on Facebook, or review us on Quora. Have a question on Quora, ask them to review over there. There's another thing that I would like to tell you about. Let me see if it works. That is the share link generator. Now, when you ask people to share, what happens is they're sometimes very reluctant to share. Okay, I will have to pick up a link, then I will have to go to Facebook and do all of that. Instead of that, you can use a tool called share link generator. Sanchit, can you just share that share link generator? So once you go to this particular website, it creates shareable links. And so this is the website which you can use, and this is the second link. So if Sanchit will share the second link with you as well, what happens is once you click on this particular link, it will automatically go to Facebook. Once it automatically goes to Facebook, what happens is that the tendency to share it is a lot higher. Say, for example, let me write a tweet. Interesting session on event marketing by Ravi Handa and Townscript. Happy to attend that. Now, this is a link that I have created just now for twitter.com. Now, what happens is, now if you ask people to share about a particular event, it becomes a little bit difficult. Some of them do it, some of them don't do it. But if you tweet the content, if you give them the exact content and all they need to do is click on a particular link, the chances of them sharing it is going to be a lot higher. Sanchit, can you share the Twitter link as well?
Yeah, done.
So I would request you guys to please actually click on this, see if it takes you over there, takes you to Twitter, asks you to share over there, and all you will need to do is click a tweet button. Now, doing that is going to be a lot easier than actually typing out some tweet and thinking about it. So these are small little things which can make a lot of difference. Sanchit, that brings me to the end of at least the session part that I had prepared. These are the contact details for me and Sanchit. You guys can use that. Feel free to reach out. And Sanchit, if you can just switch on your screen and ask me any questions which are there, I'll turn off the PPT if that's possible. Okay. Yeah, Sanchit.
Yeah, so thank you, Ravi. It was pretty very, very informative. I think I personally also learned a couple of very good pointers. So as Ravi mentioned, and we have we have been working with a number of events, right? What we have realized is with time, so what we need to understand as events community that like it's a through, like we need to build our events brand, right? Our organization brand. So what we have felt is, in terms of newcomers in the market, so it won't be right to like basically think like I will start off my ticket sales 15 days before the event, and I will get like 100 attendees for my event, right? So if you see Ravi Handa right now, Ravi has around 3,000, more than 3,000 people in his class, right? So it takes time to build the brand. For us to build our own brand, it has taken almost 4 years to reach at this point we are right now, right? So the point which Ravi mentioned was it takes time to build brand, and it's an year out activity. So we need to work throughout the year to build the brand of our event, right? And it's not only about like we start 15 days before the event. Even there are two types of events. One are like the frequent events which we do, like workshops. I think we have Debashri in our attendees today, who is a very popular art workshop trainer. She organizes the organization name is Group Art Circle. So they organize workshops on like weekly basis, right? And then we have organizers who organize events on yearly basis, or like we have Comic Con who organize 5 events in a year. So the thing is, like what we need to understand is we have to build our organization brand throughout the year, and it takes time to build the brand. Also, what we have observed is like what Ravi mentioned, which we have observed that a lot of event organizers miss, is they don't leverage the power of blogging, okay, and search engine optimization. So it's very important to have your YouTube channel, okay. It's very important to have your blog, so you can use WordPress. It doesn't take much time to have your own WordPress blog. If you need any help, we can help you out with setting up your WordPress blog, but that really helps you out in building your own brand awareness, right? So I think we'll finish off this session, and we'll now have Q&A. So we want to, like, I think Ravi is there to answer all your questions regarding events marketing. So in the question section, there is a question section in your panel, in control panel. You can ask your questions there. You can write your questions there, and I'll ask Ravi to answer those questions. One second. So I'm just checking out questions, and I'll just ask. So Ravi, we have a question.
Yes.
Ulfa Khwaja asked, how do we encourage college students to participate in technical events?
How do we encourage
college students to participate in technical events? So I'm assuming it's like a technical conference kind of event.
One thing that you can do and you should do is, first of all, if it is a paid event, you need to price it on a extremely lower side for students, because they are going to be. So suppose it's a 1,000 rupee ticket, then probably the student version should cost something like 100 or 150. You can you can directly talk to the college that if the college is maybe willing to sponsor the event, and in that sponsorship. So this is again if you remember the Rubik's Cube example that I was talking about. Now, what that guy does is that in that Rubik's Cube based event, they get in touch with the college directly, and the college in bulk buys that, okay, 100 of our students would attend, or 150 of our students would attend, and that helps getting some revenue. So targeting a college directly would be a good idea. Pricing it lower would be a good idea. Otherwise, getting students to attend technical stuff. Another thing that maybe you can do is have some sort of a certificate program which is there. that, okay, people attended this particular session, they learned something from this. This was a 2-day conference, and that particular certificate is what students can showcase during their job interviews and stuff. Students in India are at least really crazy about these certificates because they don't really get that many options. So lower pricing, getting directly in touch with college and giving out certificates would be a decent idea to attract students towards any technical event.
So Ravi, we have another question from Amit Jain. So sometimes the workshops are highly priced. How to target the audience for those type of highly priced workshops? And the events are of professional, they are professional training events, professional training workshops. Yeah.
So you need to know, see, two things. One, you need to know what sort of audience you are targeting. Now, if these are higher priced events or higher priced workshop, probably you will be targeting people with 4-5 years of working. You will need to figure out, so if these events are offline, you will need to figure out where these guys are active. You can maybe do a little bit of advertising there. But again, for higher priced events, I don't really think this sort of push marketing, doing an ads would work that much. It has to be inbound. And that is where building trust is going to matter a lot. So suppose you are conducting an event where it's a dance workshop. That's fine if it's not something very specialized. But if you are conducting, I might be terribly wrong here, but if you are conducting a dance workshop which takes you from Kathak level 3 to Kathak level 4, I don't even know if those levels are there, but suppose they are there. Now Kathak level 3 to Kathak level 4 is a very specialized workshop. So you will need to have a brand that you are qualified enough to do that. You will need to have visibility for that to happen. So that is where blogging comes into the picture. That is where YouTube videos come into the picture. That is where Quora comes into the picture. You need to do these activities year long so that when you ask for a premium price for doing something, people are willing to pay that premium. If it's a costly activity, even though it is a 2-day event, you need to promote it throughout the year. So they are not coming for the 2-day event. They are not coming because maybe you are teaching them something specific for Ruby on Rails. They are coming there because they know, okay, Sanchit is a guy who I can trust. His sessions are going to be helpful. This is 30,000 rupees, the money that is going in. It is going to the right company. It is going to the right guy. And how do I know it is the right company or the right guy? Because I have built a relationship with that company throughout the year. I have read their emails, I have read their blogs, I have read reviews about them on Reddit and Quora and Facebook and various other platforms. So if you want to do something premium, maybe it is a 1-day or a 2-day event. The only way to do it, I believe, is that you need to build a brand throughout the year. Or you can do, say, for example, I believe your story is doing in Pune that they are calling Radhika Apte to the event. So if you can do something like that, that works. But then once again, Radhika Apte has built the brand over a long period of time. So you'll need to build the brand for that.
So Ravi, we have another question from Debashri. So it's a very genuine question. The question is, do you alone do the YouTube video uploading, blogging, answering questions on Quora, social media like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and creating events on Townscript, or you have a team?
So I have a team. Anyone who operates at this scale has to have a team. It is really not possible for an individual to do all of this. Now, there is stuff. Say, for example, the videos on YouTube are concerned. Now, what I do is, I tell a guy that, boss, this is the questions that we are going to discuss. Please make a decent PPT for this. I will just go and record a voiceover for that. And then he does the editing. He does the uploading. He writes a good title for it. He writes a good description for it. He links back on the website. For even something as simple as Quora answers. So what I would do is, I will write a Quora answer in a mail, and this guy will, so one member of my team will go and find okay, boss, this month you haven't done much on Quora. These are 5-6 questions that you can answer. He will send those 5-6 questions to me. I will then go write out answers for those 5-6 questions and send it to him. Now, what he will do is he will change the language a little bit. He'll check for grammar. He'll look for an appropriate photograph to fit into that answer. He will insert a couple of relevant links back to our website, and then he will post it. So
yes, so Ravi, so the challenge here is, in her case, so the challenge here is she's alone in her team. So she basically manages everything on her own. So my suggestion here will be to Devashri, that what you should do is, there is a website.
2013.
Huh?
So I started alone in 2013. You have to start alone some point of time.
Yeah, so you can leverage freelancers. So we at Townscript still connect with a lot of freelancers. I'll share a website link. So there are a lot of freelancing websites which are there, but there is a website called Upwork.com. Okay. So what we do is we tell them what to write. Okay. I share, like for example, I know what if there is a blog to be written. Okay, and I just tell him the 4 main points, like these are the main pointers which you are supposed to, like I just tell him the context of the blog. Okay, so this is what you are supposed to write, and then he just writes for me, and then I have made him author on WordPress, and I just review the article and then I publish it. So that's a more scalable way to go about it. And I'm sure, like initially, so in a way, like you can try to leverage, you can keep a mix of both. You can do a marketing on your own, and you can take help of freelancers via Upwork. They charge around, so there are different types of freelancers with different pricing. So you can think of leveraging freelancers as well. So what do you think, Ravi?
Yeah, I agree. Freelancers are a good tool. And again, now this is a mistake that I made, and I want to share with you. I tried to do everything on my own. And when I remember I made my first hire, and the first hire I paid him a salary of 15,000 to 20,000 rupees. And it scared me. Okay, I'm paying a guy 15,000 rupees for something that I can do myself. But what and that's why I did not hire for a very long time. But what I was not realizing is that if I'm paying someone 15,000 rupees, the first hire for the first time, he's taking up half a day of my work. So don't think of money as, okay, I'm giving someone 15,000 rupees, I'm losing that 15,000. Do not think of that way. Think of it as the same amount of work. If I have to do, how much time will I consume? How much time will it consume? If the time consumed is 100 hours, you value yourself at 150 rupees an hour, then 15,000 rupees is your break-even point. So you need to do that sort of an analysis. Do not value 15,000 rupees as the money going out of your pocket. Think of it as the amount of time you are gaining by hiring that other guy. I believe the same is valid for freelancers as well. Sanchit can very well write that particular post, but he would prefer to give the context of that post, which he does in 15 minutes. He would prefer to give 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees to that blog writer rather than spend 3 hours writing that particular blog post. So that's something that you can do as well.
Right, and you can also think of hiring interns. So to start with, that can give you a kickstart, and then slowly, if you start seeing ROI, so you can think about maybe hiring a full-time person with you, right? So I think we have a few more questions. So Pradeep has a. So Pradeep, I think I'll answer your question. So are there any companies that provide paid volunteers for events? So Pradeep, I'll answer your questions. I'll connect you. I'll share the details of few companies who can provide you volunteers for your events. So for event check-ins, for big scale events, we at Townscript have recently started helping event organizers in managing their event check-ins with our technology of event check-ins. So we have barcode scanners, QR code scanners, and badge printing functionality in our on-ground system, which we are developing. That's more for big scale events, and for small scale events, we have QR code app for scanning your for checking in your attendees. So Pradeep, I think for managing your events, if you need volunteers, I can find few companies who can help you out with that. And for event, if you need for event check-ins and all, so we have recently started the service. I'll share the details with you about that as well. So there is another question from Mihir. The question is how to identify other events, forums, communities where our target audience is likely to be, so that we can attend those and promote our brand there. Okay.
Search on Facebook, Google. Search on Google. Just Google for that stuff. See, if there is if you are running a conference which deals with Ruby, then search for related stuff, what's happening in the world around you. And I would strongly encourage you to go and attend more such conferences or attend more events where some similar stuff is happening. You will learn a lot from it. You learn a lot from it. So I'll highly encourage you to attend such events.
Yeah. So Ulfa Khwaja has a very genuine question. I tried promoting about our technical conference on Facebook advertisement. Even after investing a good amount of money, I only managed to get a few likes and views, but registration from students. Was Facebook advertisements a bad idea?
Not really. So it depends on what you are trying to achieve out of Facebook ads. Facebook ads work really, really well if you are trying to get visibility. Facebook ads work really, really well if you are trying to promote something on Facebook. Now, suppose you are trying to get more likes to your Facebook page. That is a good idea. Suppose you are doing an event on Facebook and you are trying to promote that. That is a good idea. Suppose you are trying to promote a group on Facebook. That is a good idea. Now, if you are planning to run ads out such that they will go and buy something or they will go and attend something outside the Facebook website, that's a little difficult. Because what happens is, so one thing is your per click rate. So suppose you design a beautiful Facebook ad, you target it really well, and these two things are easier said than done. Facebook targeting, you should read up on that. That's really important. Designing a good ad on Facebook, that's also really important. Now, suppose you do both these things, then what will happen is your per click, then you will have some sort of a per click cost. Your per click cost could be 5 rupees, your per click cost could be 20 rupees, whatever your per click cost is. With that per click, the person comes to your website. And then your website will have some sort of conversion ratios. So maybe 1 in 10 converts, maybe 1 in 50 converts, and 1 in 50, 2% conversion is actually a good conversion. So it doesn't really translate very well if you are trying to sell something that way. What would work a lot better is for Facebook ads would work really well for branding purposes. If you want to encourage your Facebook, get more likes on your Facebook page and stuff like that. Suppose you have written a blog post and you want more people to come and read that particular blog post. You share that blog post and you boost it. That is where it will work well.
Yes, so I agree with Ravi. So what we need to understand here is Facebook. When I go on Facebook, when I use Facebook as a user, my intent, I just go there and I see an ad coming up, right? So that so there is a lower probability if you compare with Google Ads. When I go on Google search and I search, okay, marathons in Pune, so then I have an intent. I already have an intent, and I am searching for a marathon in Pune, right? So there's a higher probability that you will get a better click-through rate on Google Ads. And Facebook ads, you won't get very quick results because the person who's seeing your ad on Facebook, he didn't search for it. He's just seeing his friend pictures and then he sees your ad. So it's good for brand awareness. Okay, it might not give you quick results, but it helps you in brand awareness. Like as Ravi mentioned, maybe you can post a blog and then you can run an ad on Facebook right? So if you compare the click-through rate, and if you want quick results, I know, like, I have been working with number of event organizers. We have been working, we at Townscript have been working with number of events. So we see, hey, we ran Facebook ads 1 month before, but we didn't get any result. So imagine, so the thing is, like, if you compare, if you see Facebook marketing as a tool, it will definitely help you in creating your brand awareness. But if you, but you might not get quick results if your event is already not a brand. So as an example, if I'm Comic Con, right? Comic Con is already a very popular property of United States, which has come to India. If I'm running a Facebook ad, I might get very quick, a good click-through rate. But if I'm a new person who has started this event for the first time, I might not get. But it will definitely be a very good source for you to create your brand awareness. So I hope I was able to answer your question, but I think I've noted down your point, and I I have noted down your point, and definitely maybe we can answer your question in detail of Facebook paid marketing through blog as well. Yeah, Ravi, are you there? Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello. Yeah, sure.
Hello, Sanchit, I'm here.
So yes, yeah. So I am just checking out a few more questions. So Sambhav has a question. If we are planning to do paid webinars, so what's the solution for it?
I didn't understand. So is he asking about tools or?
The tools that are available, yeah. So I'll just message the GoToWebinar is a very popular tool, and WebEx is
Go
definitely one very popular.
So GoToWebinar,
Yeah, we are
WebEx.
using GoToWebinar right now.
There are
Yeah,
plenty of
yeah.
software.
So yeah, you can just quickly do a Google search. Townscript is a registration platform. We do not have the functionality of hosting webinars on our platform. So I'm just checking out few questions. So Ali Reza has a question. Where can I see the slides? So we will be sharing the slides in the end after this webinar is over. Okay, and we'll
Sanchit,
share the slides.
mail that entire PPT, right?
Right, right. We'll mail the PPT to you. Right. So now we'll take the last question. The last question is uh, from. Sorry, we have a few more questions, but we can take them after the event. But this is the last question. I take a lot of live videos on Facebook. One second. Hello.
Yeah, Sanchit, I can
Hello.
hear
Yeah,
you.
Ravi.
Yes, I can
Yeah,
hear you.
I take a lot. Yeah, I take a lot of videos on Facebook during the event. Couldn't figure out a way to upload them on YouTube. Is there a way out?
I don't think so. The It's a very shitty way. You will lose a lot of quality if you do that. But once the video is recorded, there are tools which are available. There are plugins which are available for Firefox, which will allow you to download that particular video. You can use a particular some plugin which will allow you to download that Facebook video and then upload it on YouTube. But this is something that you can do. Having said that, this is not something that I would recommend. If you have the content of that video ready, I would just suggest, see, Facebook video is a particular format. It's for live. I would suggest that if you're planning to put it up on YouTube, a much better idea would be to either do a YouTube live if you are interested in live sessions, or even if you don't want to do a YouTube live, just record a new pure original video for YouTube, which is optimized that way, where you can tell people to subscribe to your channel and stuff like that, and use that. I would not suggest that you shift the same video there. Sharing a YouTube video on Facebook works, but a video of an FB live on YouTube, I don't think it would look well.
Okay. So so this is one last question. Sorry guys. Like we'll take all your questions after the event. I'll also share Ravi's email with you. You can ask Ravi, and also you can ask me if you have any other question related to events. So last question is from Madhurima. What encourages corporate to sponsor more attendees for any event or seminar? Tech company.
So what happens is they're getting publicity. They're trying to make inroads in that particular college. Now, for a lot of these colleges, they want companies to come there to recruit. And a lot of these companies don't really get inroads into the college. That is the reason why they sponsor fairs, because they want to get inside the college, because they want to be in the eyes of the students who are present over there. So the easiest possible way to do it is, if they will sponsor, they will get in touch with the students, they will get in touch with the management, so they'll get inroads into that college. That's why a few companies would do that.
Yeah, and
this is for good colleges where companies are planning to recruit and they would want a day one slot, and for that day one slot they will need to build some sort of a relationship with the college. These things help.
Yeah, and from tech companies' perspective, Madhurima. So the thing is, like, we need to understand from sponsors' perspective as well. Why should they sponsor your event? Why should they sponsor your conference or a musical event? Right. Giving you an example, like we have been working with a very good conference called RubyConf or a GopherCon. So what we realized was, for RubyConf, all the Ruby related companies, they have been sponsored. The companies product companies, tech companies who have been working in, or who have developers or software engineers who are building the platform in Ruby language, they tend to sponsor the event because they want very smart Ruby developers in the team, right? Or else, few of the sponsors, they want customers from the conference, right? Because the conference is a very good way to meet and network with the people. So from the experience, what we have realized is, sponsors, they come for something in return, right? Either if they sponsor, they get customers from the event, or else they get to hire, as even if I want to sponsor, like for example, OnePlus is a company, of mobile company. They have been sponsoring all the college events right now. They have been